The sun had just set over the small, struggling town of Renswick. In a dimly lit corner of the town's main street stood the Beacon of Hope shelter, a haven for the homeless. Its peeling paint and creaky doors reflected years of neglect, yet inside it was a place of warmth and solace. Sarah, the shelter's manager, was exhausted. Donations had been at an all-time low, and tonight she faced a heartbreaking dilemma. There wasn't enough food for the people who relied on her. "Mom, I'm hungry," a little girl's voice broke the silence. Sarah turned to see Emma, a 7-year-old who had been staying at the shelter with her mother for weeks. Her heart ached as she offered Emma a weak smile. "I know, sweetie. We'll have something soon," Sarah reassured her, even though she wasn't sure what that something would be. Meanwhile, just miles away, Elon Musk was in town for an unpublicized visit. He had been quietly traveling to underserved communities to learn about the challenges they faced. As he sat in a modest cafe, sipping black coffee and reading local news on his phone, a small headline caught his eye. "Homeless shelter struggles to feed residents amid economic downturn." Elon set down his coffee, deep in thought. He quickly pulled out his phone and made a call. "Hi, I need a favor," he said, speaking directly to the manager of a local pizza chain. "How quickly can you deliver 50 pizzas to the Beacon of Hope shelter?" The manager, initially skeptical, soon realized who he was talking to and assured him the order would be fulfilled immediately. An hour later, as the shelter's residents gathered in the common room, a delivery truck pulled up outside. The aroma of freshly baked pizza wafted in, and the room erupted into cheers and laughter. For the first time in weeks, the shelter was filled with joy. But Elon wasn't done. He wanted to see the impact firsthand. Without any fanfare, he made his way to the shelter, dressed casually in jeans and a hoodie. As he stepped inside, Sarah approached him, still unaware of who he was. "Are you here to volunteer?" she asked, her voice tinged with hope. Elon smiled. "Something like that." He spent the evening serving slices, sitting with residents, and listening to their stories. He learned about their struggles, their dreams, and the systemic issues that had led them to the shelter. By the end of the night, he felt deeply connected to the people he had met. Before leaving, Elon pulled Sarah aside. "You're doing incredible work here," he said, "but I think we can do more." Sarah raised an eyebrow, confused. "What do you mean?" Elon simply smiled. "You'll see." The next morning, Sarah was woken up by a phone call from an unknown number. Groggy but curious, she answered. "Hello, is this Sarah Peterson, manager of the Beacon of Hope shelter?" A confident voice asked. "Yes, this is Sarah," she replied cautiously. "This is Angela from Musk Foundation. I'm calling to inform you that Mr. Musk has decided to fund a complete renovation of your shelter. In addition, he's pledged to cover operational costs for the next 5 years and establish a community outreach program to help residents transition to stable housing and jobs." Sarah sat up in bed, her heart racing. I, I don't understand. Is this a joke?" Angela chuckled. "Not at all, ma'am. Mr. Musk was deeply moved by his visit last night. Construction crews will arrive later this week to begin work." Before Sarah could respond, there was a knock on the shelter's front door. She hurried downstairs to find a man in a suit holding a clipboard. Behind him, a fleet of trucks carrying supplies was parked on the street. "Good morning, Miss Peterson," the man said. "I'm here to discuss the renovations. Mr. Musk has some very specific ideas, including solar panels, a tech-enabled kitchen, and a learning center for the residents. He wants this place to be a beacon of hope in every sense." Sarah was speechless as the crew began unloading materials and setting up. Word of the transformation spread quickly, and by afternoon a crowd of curious townspeople had gathered outside the shelter. Many couldn't believe their eyes. Later that evening, Sarah received another surprise. Elon Musk himself returned to the shelter, this time accompanied by his team. He walked in with his signature unassuming demeanor, a tablet in hand. "I thought we could brainstorm together," he said, gesturing to the residents and staff. "What would make this place truly transformative for the community?" The room was silent for a moment before one of the residents, an older man named Bill, spoke up. "Most of us just need a second chance. Somewhere to work, learn, and feel like we belong." Elon nodded. "That's exactly what I was thinking." He unveiled a plan to not only renovate the shelter, but also convert a nearby abandoned factory into a training and job placement center. The facility would focus on teaching skills in renewable energy, coding, and manufacturing, industries Elon was passionate about. I believe in giving people tools, not just charity, Elon explained. Let's build something that helps people stand on their own feet. Over the next few weeks, the shelter underwent a breathtaking transformation. The crumbling building was replaced by a sleek, modern facility, complete with Elon's signature touch. Solar panels, energy-efficient systems, and vibrant murals created by local artists. The new design wasn't just functional, it was inspiring. Inside, every room was thoughtfully reimagined. The dining area was turned into a welcoming, communal space, with long tables where residents could eat together like family. The kitchen was equipped with state-of-the-art appliances, and a full-time chef was hired to prepare nutritious meals. But the real magic was in the new learning center. Rows of computers filled the bright, open space, offering courses in everything from basic literacy to advanced coding. A dedicated team of mentors volunteered to teach classes and guide residents in developing valuable skills. The nearby factory, once an eyesore in the community, was also reborn. It became a bustling hub of opportunity, offering job training programs and paid internships. Local businesses partnered with the center, promising jobs to graduates. Elon made regular visits, each time blending in with the staff and residents. He wasn't just a benefactor, he was a collaborator. He spent hours talking to people, understanding their needs, and tweaking the programs to ensure they were effective. One evening, as Elon toured the shelter, he noticed Emma, the little girl who had been hungry that fateful night. She was sitting at a computer, her eyes wide with wonder as she navigated an educational program. "Learning something cool?" Elon asked, crouching down beside her. Emma nodded enthusiastically. "I'm building a rocket," Elon chuckled. "A rocket? Well, let me know when you're ready to launch. I might have a job for you at SpaceX." The room erupted in laughter, but Emma looked at him seriously. "Promise?" "Promise," Elon said, shaking her tiny hand. News of the project spread far and wide. Media outlets picked up the story, and it went viral. People were moved by Elon's hands-on approach and his ability to turn a simple gesture, like ordering pizzas, into something life-changing. Soon, donations began pouring in from across the country, inspired by Elon's efforts. The shelter and training center became a model for other communities, proving that with the right resources and vision, even the most forgotten places could thrive. Months later, the impact of Elon's generosity was evident. The once-forgotten beacon of hope shelter was now the heart of the community, bustling with activity and optimism. Families who had once faced insurmountable challenges were now finding stability. Children were thriving in school, and residents were securing jobs through the training programs. One of the biggest transformations was Sarah herself. From being a stressed-out shelter manager struggling to make ends meet, she had become a local hero. With Elon's support, she was now the director of a network of shelters and training centers inspired by Beacon of Hope's success. One day, Elon returned to the town for a quiet visit. He walked into the shelter unannounced, blending in as always. Sarah spotted him and immediately approached with a warm smile. "You didn't tell me you were coming," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "I just wanted to see how things were going," Elon replied, looking around at the lively scene. "Seems like you've got it all under control." "It's not just me," Sarah said, her eyes welling up with tears. "You gave us a chance to dream bigger, to believe in something better. None of this would have happened without you." Elon shook his head. "I just gave you a push. The real magic was already here. It was in all of you." As they talked, a young man approached. It was Bill, the former resident who had spoken up during Elon's first brainstorming session. He was now the manager of the job training center. "I owe you my life," Bill said, his voice trembling. "I went from having nothing to mentoring others, thanks to you." Elon smiled. "Then pay it forward. That's all I ask." Later that evening, Elon stood outside the shelter, watching as the lights illuminated the night. The town felt different now, full of hope and purpose. A reporter approached him, camera in hand. "Mr. Musk, what's your secret to making such a profound impact?" Elon thought for a moment before replying. "It's simple. If you see someone struggling, don't just walk by. Do something, no matter how small. You never know how far one act of kindness can go." The story of Elon Musk and the Beacon of Hope shelter became legendary, not just for what it achieved, but for the ripple effect it inspired. Across the country, people began stepping up in their own communities, proving that a little compassion and vision could change the world. And as for the little girl Emma, she would grow up to become one of SpaceX's brightest engineers, fulfilling the promise Elon had made to her all those years ago.